Hey Helldivers, today we're going to talk about the Galactic War. It seems that there's yet another issue with the server's backend, and it's been shut down once again. But that's not all, we'll also go over the singularity and so much more. If you find this video helpful at any point, consider hitting the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay up to date with all the latest news. Alrighty, if you haven't noticed yet, there's another hiccup with the Galactic War and its liberation rates. Here on the Helldivers companion app, you can see that the following planets are now on hold, so we can't contribute to their liberations anymore. We've also got word straight from the community manager. She confirmed the issue on Discord, on the official Helldivers Discord, and she wrote, "We are aware of a back-end error affecting Galactic War contributions. We are investigating. We will inform players here as soon as we have more info available on the situation. Thank you for your patience." I'm sure most of you remember the incident from about a week ago when the developers shut down the Galactic War server to monitor the situation and figure out what was going on. Now there's another issue with the Galactic War itself again, and it's not looking good. Why, you ask? Well, we're back to square one with the liberation rates disabled, and who knows how long it'll take this time. Now, last time they fixed it fast, announcing the next day they sorted it out. I thought that was impressively quick, but honestly, I'd rather they take their time with this liberation rate bug instead of rushing it out. Some of you Helldivers might think that's too long, but I prefer they take the time to find a permanent fix. Unfortunately, the liberation rate bug is back, so if you woke up this morning eager to spread democracy, think again. Sadly, that's off the table for now. I'd love to hear your reactions and thoughts about the Galactic War shutting down yet again. Share them in the comments below. On a related note, the support team has responded to the latest bug, and there's been talk of a major update. I had a hunch they were about to drop a new update soon, especially since we're close to blocking the singularity. Anyway, a Helldiver recently asked a support team member, what's the role of the support team, specifically regarding the latest Galactic War shutdown. Here's what she had to say. "We work at Arrowhead on the help desk. If you submit tickets to Zendesk, it's my team you send them to. We liaise with devs about bugs and issues, and help with the account issues and the like." The same Helldiver then replied to her saying deep breaths before major updates. The support team responded with, "There's definitely a here it comes moment before major updates could be worse. At least I'm not the one who has to actually do the fixes." So we can take that response with a grain of salt. I suspect they had something planned. Unfortunately, the recent issues might have delayed the upcoming update, whether it's a hotfix or a full-blown major update. Still, I'd take it with a pinch of salt, though I wouldn't be surprised if they'd planned a major update for Tuesday. If they did have a big update in the works, the timing couldn't be worse, which ties back to what I said before about taking their time. That way, if an update does drop, right, it won't be tarnished, and they won't need to make last-minute changes or shut down the Galactic War again. Moving on, let's dive into some questions the Helldivers 2 designer answered. I covered a few in a previous video, but there are more I think you'll find interesting. First up, how did they come up with the arrows for the stratagem combinations? In the clip, the designer Fluffy explained that during development, they used a red flare instead of a large red beam we see in Helldivers 2 now. Here's what he had to say.
Oh, that's a good one. That's Johan's actually from the beginning. I believe. I don't remember how exactly it came to the D-pad. It just always kind of was the D-pad, the first implementation as well. The very, very first implementation was the Helldiver throwing a road flare, like one of those red smoke flares, and a box just falling from the sky full of stuff. That was the very, very first stratagem, was a box of ammunition that fell from the sky. Yeah, so I'm not sure why actually, but there were a lot of design went into sort of where stratagems are in the tree, because there is a very finite number of combinations you can make with those buttons. As we terminate the sort of the combination, how do I explain this? If you do up, up, down, down, then anything that would begin with up, up, down, down no longer possible to make as a stratagem combination, because it terminates on the last stratagem there. So every combination after that is no longer eligible. This is why a lot of stratagem weapons, for example, have very long combinations, because if they had short combinations, they would invalidate a lot of space in that sort of combination tree.
Now that's awesome. If they hadn't changed the design, we'd be using a red flare to call in ammo instead of the stratagem ball we now use to drop a supply box. Plus, it would have been totally different since it was a massive ammo box that would have dropped. The next question is, what would the Helldivers 2 designer like to change or add to the game? In response, he mentioned a unique and different armor system. Let's tune in to hear what he had to say.
Was earlier in the game's development there was a different kind of armor system that sort of semi-remains, but it was removed because it just didn't play well. Same reason as all the other sort of decisions we've made through Helldivers 1 and similar that I talked about already. It just didn't play well, and we didn't have the time to fix it or to make it play well, essentially. So I would love to revisit that maybe at some point. But on the other hand, I mean, the game is what it is right now, so I don't necessarily see a need for it to make a return.
I think he's referring to a unique HUD system tied to helmets. Originally, the team designed helmets to display health bars if you had the medic passive equipped, or red outlines if you had the recon passive. But sadly, it was all cut from the game because, well, they had to ship it out. He'll instead confirm this on the official Helldivers 2 Discord 10 months ago. I covered that topic back then, and I'm sure most of you remember it. Not only did he respond to that question, but we also have an answer about how they came up with the planet names. There's all sorts of crazy ones. I'll show a few examples right here. So there's this one. I'm not going to even try to pronounce that one because I have a feeling it's going to come up really bad, guys. There's also another one here. So there's all sorts of ones like those, but I won't take up so much of your time. Let's go ahead and listen to what the designer had to say.
The names they're a mix of me and Johan, actually, sitting around doing stupid jokes like Clemdath 2, and the writing team and Nilsson and that team, just coming up with a lot of planet names. Some are reuses.
I'm guessing the first example I showed a few seconds ago is one of those planets they had fun creating and joking about. Now I do have a fun question for you Helldivers out there. Have you spotted a planet name that's either hilarious or intriguing? If so, drop it in the comments below and I'll check it out on the Galactic War map. Hell, I might just feature you in the next video, so feel free to comment. Continuing forward, let's find out why they decided to switch from the top-down view in Helldivers 1 to a first and third-person mode in Helldivers 2. The answer is basically due to the fact that it's a huge market, that more players can experience it. Here's the full reply from the latest Helldivers 2 anniversary dev stream.
Oh, a whole lot of reasons, really. Some big ones. It's a bigger market, essentially, so more people can experience it. It's a more detailed game, it's a more detailed experience. I think those are the main reasons. We knew we wanted to do something a little bigger. Studio had just come off of making two smaller projects, so Gauntlet and Helldivers. Do something bigger as one team as well. And Helldivers 2 fit the bill.
What I think would be really cool is a limited time event where you actually play from the top-down view, but in Helldivers 2. What do you think about that? How crazy would that be? I think it would be fun, it would be something interesting, something different, and I believe a lot of Helldivers would actually appreciate it, especially if you're a veteran from Helldivers 1. On a related note about the third person and first person and all that stuff, the designer was asked about when did they feel like they had it just right with the movement. This is what he had to say about that.
Oh, wow, yeah. It was quite late in development before we actually got it really good. I remember we had a lot of issues with like stepping up on rocks, and it didn't feel quite right. And a lot of the UX tests showed that people didn't quite get vaulting and stuff like that, which is why actually we have auto vault on by default. But it was quite late. But it was when you started sort of fluidly stop thinking about movement. When you stop thinking about movement, that's when you know it's right. You just sort of go, and you don't have to think too much about what you're doing with your character. You don't have to spend too much energy thinking about it. That's when you know you got it. At least for an action game like Helldivers.
During development, they had to figure out how to handle movement. There were issues, but they clearly sorted them out. I think adding auto climb was a brilliant move. Fluffy, the Helldivers 2 designer, is 100% right it feels so much better to move freely without stressing about climbing over obstacles. It lets you just switch off your brain and just flow, so you're not panicking about scaling objects in your path, right? You simply just do it. I also love that we can't jump. It reminds me of Gears of War in a way, since you can't jump there either. Sure, they're totally different games, but I'm talking about the movement in particular. Last but not least, Helldivers, we have the top 3 comments. If you want to, comment down below, and you just might be shown in the next video. The first top comment comes from this Pineapple Life. You essentially said that the black hole can be stopped by the blockade, that in theory, this will somehow force the Illuminate to actually escalate the situation and send in more troops, which could absolutely happen. I think that would be insane if it does happen, and that's what I also believe will happen, so we'll find out soon. The second top comment comes from Decoy2424. You essentially said that there should be a Brash Tactics video explaining Gambit, and I think you're right about that. That would be awesome, and maybe not have it on the ship's circulation or whatever. Maybe there should just be a pop-up video right as you open up the Galactic War, and then after that, it just, it doesn't show it anymore. A one-time video probably would help out. The third and final comment comes from Not Agent AJ. You wrote that the eliminate bug holes or bot fabricator missions, we always want to land far away from the extraction so that you can run consistently towards it and not have to run back wasting time. Sure, that's not a bad idea. However, I choose to do it because I I don't know, it's a weird habit of mine, okay? Anyways, those are the top 3 comments. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you can, join the Discord down below. The link is right there. Join us. Let's talk about planets. Let's talk about, whatever else is going on in Helldivers 2 or other games. Also, I appreciate everyone stopping by. As always, thank you so much. Whether you're subscribed or not, I appreciate you. And I also appreciate everyone that's a member on the channel. Thank you so much. Oh, and also thank you to the newest member, Dr. Mug. Thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate it so much, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Thanks for watching.